This week in the news, we saw the launch of the greatest fan-made resource website that the Diablo 3 community has seen in years. Hey folks, this is Rhykker with a gaming news wrap-up video where we discuss the happenings of the week. This week's topics include more upcoming layoffs at Activision Blizzard, the results of a new study on video games and well-being, a new Diablo 3 community resource website that launched just in time for the new season, and more. As always, discussion timestamps can be found in the video description below, but right before you skip ahead, just a quick reminder to ring that sub notification bell to be alerted to new Saturday episodes and stay up to date with gaming news highlights. Now, before we move on, just a quick word from this video's sponsor, Crunchyroll Premium. If you like anime, you've surely heard of Crunchyroll, because with more than 45 million registered users and over 2 million subscribers, it's one of the world's largest websites for watching anime. I mean, they even started producing and licensing their own originals, which, by the way, I still strongly recommend Tower of God as a title to check out. Now with Crunchyroll Premium, which you can get over at crunchyroll.com/Rhykker, you can watch over 1,000 different anime, manga, or drama titles, all in 1080p HD, ad-free, professionally subtitled. Crunchyroll Premium has also updated their subscription service to offer 3 different tiers of membership. The most basic tier offers ad-free viewing of all their titles, the Mega Fan tier introduces offline viewing and other perks, and the Ultimate Fan tier also throws in an annual swag bag and more. So go to crunchyroll.com/Rhykker or click the link in the video description and start your free 14-day trial of Crunchyroll Premium now. That's crunchyroll.com/RHYKKER, and leave a comment on this video with what upcoming anime titles you're looking forward to most. In our first quick story, this week saw the launch of the World of Warcraft Shadowlands launch cinematic. Titled Beyond the Veil, it is an excellent demonstration of how Blizzard has remained one of the top producers of video game cinematics in the industry. And one thing I find really interesting about Shadowlands is that, to me at least, there are very clear inspirations from Diablo 3, the angels and the high heavens, and in fact, even as I was watching this on my live stream on Twitch, my first reaction to the first few seconds of the cinematic was, wait, is that Artanis from StarCraft? I half expected Psyblades to come out of that guy's wrists. You can even find within the cinematic subtle callbacks to past World of Warcraft cinematics.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
In other news, this week saw the launch of a new trailer for the upcoming Monster Hunter movie. It was a few weeks ago that we covered the first trailer to come out for this movie starring Milla Jovovich, and I was particularly critical about it, especially due to its seeming focus on a group of modern-day soldiers as opposed to on the world of Monster Hunter. Well, in the new Chinese trailer released this week, the focus is entirely on the Monster Hunter world. This trailer cut makes the movie feel like it's going to stay pretty true to the game. And sure, I can comment on how this movie seems like it's filmed entirely in front of green screens in a big empty warehouse. I can talk about how it feels like they blew all of their budget on getting Milla Jovovich and Tony Jaa and on the incredible CGI because there's no other extras anywhere in this world. But from this trailer, I feel like I can now watch this as a campy, fun movie that I would enjoy. In other news, Unity Game Engine released their Q3 financial results this week, and it revealed the true extent of the success of Fall Guys. Since its August 4th release, the breakout hit platformer battle royale game has sold more than 10 million copies on PC via Steam and became the most downloaded title on Sony's PlayStation Plus subscription service in history. We also learned that Genshin Impact had 10 million mobile downloads in its first day of release. Now, of course, there's a huge difference between downloads of a free game and sales, but nonetheless, 10 million in a single day is a staggering number. And 10 million sales for a game like Fall Guys is an incredible success. In other news, Apple has rolled out a new, more developer-friendly model for 2021. Titled the App Store Small Business Program. Throughout the year 2021, Apple will now take only a 15% cut of a developer's revenue, as opposed to the 30% cut that they've been taking on all app sales and in-app purchases until a developer reaches $1 million in yearly income. At that point, they'll be back to the 30%. For comparison, Google Play takes a 30% cut on Android apps, Steam takes a 30% cut, but then opposite to Apple's new policy, Steam lowers how much it takes with the more money a game makes. Once a game reaches $10 million in sales, Steam only takes a 25% cut. And once it reaches $50 million in sales, it only takes 20%. Now, it's unclear whether Apple will continue this program after the year 2021. All we know for sure is it will be in effect throughout 2021. And it's certainly a more developer-friendly move to take less of a cut from the smaller developers. In other news, according to new research coming out of Oxford University, playing video games can have a positive impact on your well-being. Yeah? It seems like a no-brainer to say doing things that we enjoy makes us feel better, but it extends beyond that. We don't need a study to tell us that while we are engaged in some form of entertainment, we are being entertained, and being entertained is a good thing. But this is about extending beyond just the time you spend engaged with the entertainment and reflecting more on your overall well-being. For instance, I'm sure a lot of us grew up with parents telling us to not play video games so much, that it's not good for us to play video games so much, that we should go out and socialize. A lot of parents express concern that playing too many video games is addictive and leads to poor mental health. But this study actually found a positive relationship between amount of time spent playing video games and general well-being. Now, it's important to specify here that correlation is not causation. What the study found was that people who play video games more tend to self-report more positive well-being. This does not mean that playing video games more causes you to feel better. It could be that people who feel better tend to play more video games. It's also noteworthy that this study was based on two games, Plants vs. Zombies and Animal Crossing: New Horizons. And so I wonder if this study was done with different games that players consider to be more toxic, would we see the same results? Basically, does the type of game and the nature of the game affect at all whether players will self-report higher or lower well-being? On to some Cyberpunk 2077 news. We got a new Night City Wires special this week, showcasing some footage of the game running on Xbox One X as well as Xbox Series X. Evidently, the gameplay footage from Xbox One doesn't look nearly as good as the PC footage, but the game still does look beautiful. The city did feel a lot emptier, as though they reduced crowd density. We get to see some Keanu Reeves in the footage, we get to hear some techno tunes that to me felt very reminiscent of the Blade Blood Rave music, and I get the sense that I'm just gonna appreciate driving through the city. I used to play Grand Theft Auto just to drive. Pop into a car, turn on the radio, and just drive and relax. We also learned this week that the game will include a sort of streamer mode. This game mode will take out all copyrighted music in order to save streamers from DMCA takedowns. Instead, the copyrighted music will be replaced with game soundtrack. We also got this week the official gameplay trailer, which probably was meant to be the launch trailer. The devs are once again firmly committed to their December 10th launch date, and I must say that I just really hope that this game lives up to the incredible amount of hype that is built up around it. In other news, a report came out this week that another round of layoffs are coming to Activision Blizzard. According to MCV Develop, a source gave them the exclusive scoop that over 100 employees are facing potential unemployment, all within the marketing, PR, publishing, customer service, and localization teams. And this would be within the company's Asia Pacific offices. This, of course, follows news of the company shutting down its office in Versailles. And according to MCV Develop's source, the reason behind the closures seems to be transitioning its non-development workforce to a full outsourcing setup. Quote, Activision's part of the company doesn't believe in community management and fandom. They think their games sell themselves. They'd rather pop a couple of millions on having Beyonce tweet about Call of Duty than hire a bunch of good people. Now, Activision Blizzard actually replied to MCV Develop following the breaking of this story. A spokesperson stated, quote, "We've been exploring how we might best integrate our capabilities across the business and be efficient as we evolve to meet growth opportunities and stay competitive in Asia Pacific. To that end, we have begun conversations with employees regarding a plan to centralize some roles across the region in our Sydney office. Decisions of this nature are never easy, and supporting our employees through this process is our #1 priority." MCV Develop went on to say that Activision Blizzard confirmed that the number of layoffs is closer to 30 and not 100, that no offices themselves are being shut down, and that customer support and localization teams are not being affected. Evidently here there are some conflicting statements between MCV developed source and what Activision Blizzard then stated. I would chalk this up not to the source being illegitimate, but rather the source either misinterpreting or misunderstanding certain things or injecting their own opinion into things. And I do believe that opinion is still valid. The statement, Activision's part of the company doesn't believe in community management and fandom, says a lot. Whether it is true on an absolute level or not, it's true enough within the eyes of the employees for someone, at least one person within the company, to feel this way. And evidently, the fact that they're saying the Activision part means they're trying to separate this from the Blizzard part of the company, with the implication being that the Blizzard part does care about community management and does care about fandom. Onto some Diablo news. The new season of Diablo 3 launched last night. Season 22, with a seasonal theme that includes a 4th cube slot for every character, shadow clones that spawn for you when you click a pylon that will fight alongside you, and a host of balance changes and buffs and new items that make new builds possible, viable, and powerful. As always, I have a tier list video going over the best builds of Season 22, and this season's tier list is presented in collaboration with some of the top minds in Diablo 3 through a partnership with new community resource website, maxroll.gg. This website launched this week, and it's a repository of guides and resources for Diablo 3. On it, you can find all manner of different build guides, tier lists of the best builds for Greater Rift pushing, or bounties, or group setups. You can find write-ups of the tactics of the top players in the game, guides on leveling quickly, explanations on some of the game's more obscure mechanics, global rankings, and even the D3 Planner build planner now lives on Maxroll. Now, as I've stated, I've partnered up with Maxroll, but this project was well into development when they approached me. And when they showed me what they'd put together, I took a look at that website and my first reaction was, wow, I have a new favorite website. When Diablo 3 was young, there were all manner of community resource websites. I had them all bookmarked. Every day I'd be going to a different community website for different reasons. But then as the game started to age one by one, all those links turned into dead links. And now for the past several years, we've pretty much had the same few robust websites that have been around for a while. But now to have Maxroll.gg emerge and consolidate a whole bunch of different resources together in one place, it's your one-stop shop for all things Diablo 3. And in other Diablo community news, episode 7 of the Dank Story podcast went up earlier this week, in which some top players discussed strategies for leveling in Season 22. Link to that in the video description. And that's gonna wrap up this week's video. But do be sure to have checked out last week's video, in which we discussed the launch of Project Diablo 2, an ambitious Diablo 2 mod that feels practically like a remaster. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube supporters for making these videos possible. If you like what you see on this channel and want to support the creation of more content, you can consider pledging on YouTube or Patreon and unlocking behind-the-scenes content, monthly virtual hangouts, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more gaming content.